All right, we got to pay attention, man, because we're going to have an assignment today. I just want to walk y'all through. This is week 8, environmental leaders of color. So today I'm going to run through a quick just recap of what we done as far as just with the agents in particular. And then what's going to happen is the TAs are going to get with y'all and look up here. This is going to be your names. I'm going to need your names to be here, your grades to be right here, whatever the name of your project to be right here. The TAs are going to go over with you so you can eventually give us whatever the percentages of your project. They'll help you figure that out. Whoever is at zero is at zero. They need to start from scratch like Bryson. Bryson, I would kind of consider probably at 50% because he's already started. Felix is at a certain percentage too. Bryce, I'm not sure. Are you going to work with him? Was it you? What's happened to your buddy who was with you? He didn't come today? Okay, so are you going to do your project with him or are you doing yours by yourself? Yeah, but we got to figure it out today. That's what I'm saying. That's today. We have to figure this out. Today's going to be the day. Either you're going to do it with him because he might not be here all the time. You might consider doing it by yourself. But we need to know where we at because now we need to start. When you go home today, this week, you got to start working on your project. So when you come back next week, this percentage moves up. And then we're going to get with you again because we keep doing presentations and talking about projects and we need to get them started. I'm gonna let y'all know, man, agents, angelic agent. Right now, anything you could do on a computer, can y'all pay attention? No messing with the computers right now? Because we don't have nothing to do on the computer right now. So I just need everybody to pay attention. Because this is serious, I'm telling y'all, everything y'all are doing right now on your PC, an agent can do, a bot can do. Everything, if anybody you know who has a job that's sitting in front of a computer, a bot, an agent can now do their job. People need websites. They don't know how to build websites. You know how easy it is for you guys to actually just go to a GPT or whatever application and start vibe coding and build a website for that person and make some money. This is what's happening today. People are going to lose their jobs, but there's going to be a whole bunch of other people that actually is going to be able to make money, not to say off of that, but off of that. Because you got 90% of these businesses that are so lost on which way do I go? So we're trying to teach you which way to go because this is the only life that is coming now. The life that me and Marvin grew up in where we went to school, we ended up going to college, we ended up getting a job and we was defined by that job as a doctor, a plumber, electrician. That is over. It is now an AI world you're walking into now. And robots will be doing most of the work, whether they're bots, whether they're agents, whether they're real robots physically walking. People keep saying a robot is not going to take my job. Yes, it is. Eventually in the long run, people who's like we tell people now, and this might just be good for 10 years. Be a plumber, carpenter, electrician, take a trade. Right now, those jobs are going to be guaranteed. White collar jobs are done. And this wasn't 3 years ago. We wasn't talking like this 3 years. We was telling people to be coders, become machine learning engineers, because that's where we thought everything was leading to now. Go ahead.
Yeah, you saw, I don't know if you all have been keeping up with the news, but my former employer, Block,
just laid off 4,000.
40% of their work.
That's right. And he said 4,000. He's the one who started Twitter, Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey started Twitter. So he's the one who started Twitter. He sold it for a bag, a big bag. And he's really a good guy, to be honest with you. And he really is, to be honest with you. He's not like these regular other billionaires who's just greedy. He had to do this. And they wanted him to do it in spurts. Couple here, couple there, couple here. But he felt that would just tear down the company. So he had to be real with the company, say, listen, we got to lay these 4,000 off. But this is happening all over the country. And these are not layoffs. These are permanent. But what he did was he did take care of his peoples. He gave them nice little packages.
Right?
Did the best he can, you know what I'm saying? But this is what's happening. So people who's going to school, this is the lowest in the last 5 years as far as college students getting jobs. They're really not getting too many jobs. And a lot of people are getting laid off who went to colleges for good jobs. So right now, everybody talks about entrepreneurship is the way to eventually go. So what we're doing now is we're giving you game to be ahead. They're not teaching this in school. They're not telling you about bots. Me and Moose is on it. We got agents building stuff for us now. I got sites being built. I just built an app for a client who asked me, because people been asking me for a long time, Erik, give me something for my stocks and shares. I need to check everything in one place. So I had a client say, I need to check everything in one place, all my stocks. I'm checking here, I'm checking there. So I built them an agent that at actually at 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. because what happened was I asked them to test it out for a week. I built them, it gives them, they got their stocks, they pick their watch list, and then it gives them a summary of everything, their top 3 earners. It gives them their how many shares they got, like how many shares they brought, what's today's market value, what's today's gains and losses, and everything about that particular ticker. So this particular person has 13. They've done well too, 65%. Every day it tells you what your gains is over here and what your whole thing is, what you got in the whole stock market. And then at the end of each ticket, it gives them the latest news on that company, which is what you want. Once again, at the bottom, it gives you a whole summary, and then my little information built by, automate.vip is at the bottom. That is something that I can make money off of. Just that right there. That person right there just made me feel like, all right, you know what? So I'm selling these now for anybody who wants to check 10 stocks, 5 shares. If you want to go past that, just tell me what you want. If you say, listen, Eric, I got 25 shares and I want to be able to have 5 of them warn me when a stock goes to this, just tell me what you want. And you know what I'm gonna do? Raise your hand if you think, if you know what I'm gonna do. If they tell me this is what they want, what am I gonna do now? Because I'm gonna tell them I could do it, but what's my next step?
Oh, the agent has to do.
He make sure he get this. Yes, I don't have to sit there now because 2 months ago I was in N8N picking my to initiate the, I forgot what you call it, my trigger. So I had to put the trigger, I had to figure out what's next, and now I have to build my workflow. Now you know what I gotta do? Tell my agent. And he go in and build the whole thing now. So this is where we are today. You have to know how to prompt, you have to know how to vibe code, and we're teaching you this. And that's why I be saying pay attention, because you guys got an upper hand, and young ladies have an upper hand on regular people going to school, because regular people going to school, they're telling them, listen, go to college, and they're telling them what happened in my life coming up. Go be defined as a doctor, go be defined as this. You have to know how to critically think. You have to know how to analyze data. These are the most important things today. People who know how to analyze data, people know how to critically think outside the box, don't just take everything for granted, but also know how to take advantage of AI, are going to win. Your games, first of all, your games. Like, I have a gaming page too. I'm about to sell that. I have it to where you can buy a page, the library, senior citizen daycare centers, people who be just on the computers. You can even go to rehabilitation centers and say, listen, we can build thinking games to where your clients can click the next and make them continue to think. You got to think outside the box. You can make money doing that. You're analytic. All you got to do is think outside the box and be like, all right, this is what they're doing now. What can I do that can enhance that? Or just make it better, or make the app better. It's always just taking something, because let me tell you something. Every company that is worth something stole their idea 9 out of 10 times. But that's what everybody do. Us in the web world, we go, and how do you think I learned what I learned? I listen to people I follow. How you think they learned it? They listen to people that they follow. So it's just about learning and continuing to learn. Listen, man, so I'm going to do a quick presentation, and then we're going to go to the TA starting to help you guys work on your project. So ELOC Education, where we are, agents and critical thinking. Recap. The big shift from tools to teammates. The old way, AI answers questions very passively. The new way, AI now take action. Active. Agent workflow, observe, decide, act towards a goal. First, you got to put the goal down. And that's what I like about when Musa showed us, what was it? Is it Figma? Yeah. So what I like about this is, for me, I feel like you gotta have a goal first. Once you have a goal, then you can start observing, decide, act, and go work towards that goal, because that's what the agent is doing. So all you got to really do is think about all of these things and just tell the agent, because the best way to really win is to not make a lot of mistakes, because I'm telling you, this thing is costly. And now that you're getting into the agent world and having to pick APIs, very, very costly. And I've been talking about this for a long time. I've been telling y'all this in my book, Parameters, Tokens, and the Price of Access. I've been telling y'all for a long time, this is going to affect your pocket. And Musa, how many people have you heard so far dealing with OpenClaw have spent thousands of dollars because they so I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of them are going beyond what they really need to do and how they really need to use these agents. A lot of them are just testing it and can afford to lose by testing. Like, you don't really need to go deep and dirty and have something tell every 15 minutes tell me, because then you're firing off, and that's cost, So what you've learned, 3 core concepts. AI agents defined: software that acts, not just responds. The workflow: input, thinking, action, result. Input, thinking, action, result. Agents defined. Critical thinking, 10 skills. We went through these. Remember these 3 out of all the 10 we did? I think these are the most important. Question assumptions. Check your bias. Fact versus opinions. Check your bias is really big because you might always just think it's one way, and then next thing you know, you made a game that offended a whole community or other communities, but you didn't even think about that because you just built your game on how you want to build it, So those are the things you definitely need to think about. The agent equation, your blueprint: name, user, problem, input, output, value. Project possibilities, archetypes you can build, helper. And so these are the things I know a lot of us already have what we're going to do as far as our projects, but these are also examples. You can build a helper, study assistant. You can help build a lesson planner. You can build data as far as data, sports analytics, a trend tracker. And when it comes to a lesson planner, these are not actually hard to really build. It's just a prompt, because if I go to my teacher prompt, or my realtor prompt, or my lawyer prompt, or my AI learning house, it has 50 customized prompts and broken down into 4 categories. And basically that's what they are. They're basically lesson planners, and you just fill in the variables. These are things that people are going to need. Teachers are going to need this. So there's a whole world out there and opportunities. That's why they say there's going to be 90 million jobs coming. They talk about 85 going to be chopped off, or 90 million chopped off, and they still talk about 80 million, 85 million. The numbers always fluctuate, but the bottom line is those AI jobs are coming, and they're not jobs that you're going to be getting with a company. They're going to be jobs that's created because people thought about things that needed to be solved. They thought about problems that needed to be solved. That's why sometimes it's good to go talk to a business. Right. The first thing you got to ask a business is, where's your weak points? Where's your trouble spots? And then you can start figuring out ways. Right. You know how many companies got stuff that in the corner that if they put it on sale can just go, but it's just sitting because they ain't even realizing it's in the box and stuff is on top of that box because they really didn't analyze their goods and the contents they got in their store. But if they put a system together, imagine they can track every single thing when it goes through the cash register to know, okay, this is what we got left. They can do their, what do they call it when you monitor your, like, once a month or every 3 months, to when you monitor how much stuff you got in your store? Inventory. You know what I'm saying? It can help them with their inventory better as far as AI, because now you don't have to wait every 3 months. That was the old way, every 3 months. Now you could go to AI and be like, listen, do a tracking, do a little analyzation on what we have in real time right now. The store's closed. I want to know if I need to order some stuff tomorrow. Oh, wow, I didn't know. We don't have too many of these, and on Thursdays, those go a lot, and the weekend's coming up, we got to order these. So that's one of the benefits of AI that you can build for a store. And that's just a bot. That's just basically connecting the cash register system. You could connect the camera systems in different ways, and I gave an example before. Say, for instance, I have a storefront. I want to put a camera on the storefront because I need to know what displays attract people to come into my store. Because say, for instance, I got a baby store for, pregnant ladies and stuff like that, and I actually put pink in the window with a nice display with a carriage and blah, blah, blah. But one thing I notice is more people look at that and in the window, and my job is to see how long they actually look, how long they stare. And my job is to see if they come in, if they buy. So say, for instance, I got 300 people that did that. Now I have an analytics of, pink always brings people in when we do a display in the window. All these things are so important for you to get your money right as far as a business go. But they don't know how to do these things. That's why it's your job as a person to say, listen, we can help you get your business on another level. Even with marketing, promotion, if they're promoting to social media sites, you should ask them, are your posts going out automatic? Like, even if you go on a vacation, do you know if the next 30 days you got social media posts going out? That can happen. You could build them the agent for that. Even though they have things that do that, but you can still build them a custom agent. So games, we already have Bryson doing the Roblox game. Roblox NPC, Quest Manager, community. We are working on something now as far as environmental leaders of color dealing with with water. This is going to be next year's project as far as environmental monitor, water quality alerts. That's going to be a project that I believe that, if they get the funding, Environmental Leaders of Color is going to be working on. So your toolbox, of course, zero cost tools, but they say that, but that's only to get you in and tell you after 7 days, you got to pay now, you know what I'm saying? So nothing is free. I'm going to tell you like that. Nothing is free. And even the free GPTs, that's not free neither.
MIT App Inventor will be using that.
Oh, that's what you was talking about?
Yes.
Yes. So hopefully that's free. Okay, so Musa did say that's free. So we got Figma, which I'm not gonna lie, Musa put me onto that. I love Figma, I do. And I was following some real professionals that I followed the other day, and they was talking about OpenClaw, and they all said, he always does his designs in Figma before he literally actually makes the agent go to work. And one of the things I love about that is he gets to continue using his brain. He gets to think it out. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just let the AI do everything. If you have an AI build, say for instance, an innate inflow like I do, you want to go in and look at every node on that innate workflow, and you want to see and read what it says. When I click an output on my innate in workflow, I want to see what's coming to the left. I want to see what's coming to the right. I want to understand innate in better than just saying, okay, I'm gonna let my agent do all the work, because sometimes you might get stuck and the agent might not be available and you might need to fix something. You know what I'm saying? So do not let the AI, if the AI does something for you, make sure you know what it's doing and how it's doing it, and make sure you understand to continue using your brain. That's really, really big. All right, so for your project, answer. These are critical questions. What problem are you solving? We went through that. Identify the real need, your agent addresses. Who is it for? Define your target user clearly. What does your agent do? Describe the specific actions it takes. Why does it matter? Explain the value and impact. It doesn't need to be finished. It needs to be a clear idea. Some people will go straight to AI and just act like, oh, start building this, start building that. Next thing you know, when you get to the end, you should have had 5 more things you added to that, And besides, let me tell y'all, so this thing moves so fast. That's why I be trying to tell y'all to pay attention. The people who followed me, say for instance, 2 years ago, a year ago, and said, you know what, I'm gonna start learning AI. They have such a better grip on what's happening now. The people that got into this 3 months ago, who seen like what ChatGPT couldn't do, today it could do probably 10 times better. It's moving so fast. Like every 4 to 7 months, this thing is just doubling what it can do and the capabilities. So I just always tell people, if you start learning this today, every day, make sure you go and learn this. Even on my AI Learning House.vip, I'm telling y'all now, you should go to that every day and at least look at the AI news. I'm telling you, the news to me is so important, because I post news that is worthy of listening to and watching, because this is what's happening in the AI world. And if you really know what's happening in the AI world, it would make you want to more get involved, not because it's fun, but because you have no choice. Because for those who do not get into the AI world, they will be a slave to the AI world. I'm telling you, this is going to be either you on the train inside with the AI people selling and making bots and making moves and making your life better, making your family's life better, making your kids understand you got to use your brain, or either you're going to be behind the train being dragged by it, just using it for, I use the free one, not letting your kids, keeping your kids on those tablets, keeping your kids on those phones, not understanding that the algorithm is controlling their brains. By the time they're 18, they ain't gonna know how to think. I'd rather be inside the train with the AI people. Me, myself, because I know where this is going. And you guys are already, and young ladies are already in, like y'all, it's up to y'all, to be honest with you, on whether you're going to get on the train or not. So at the end of the day, we got 2 paths forward. AI users, you use the tools. AI builders, you create the tools. That's you. I don't want you guys to be this right here. I need y'all to be AI builders. I need you to create tools. You can create anything you really want to. You just have to be able to imagine it. And even if I'm gonna tell you, OpenClaw. Someone has that, I don't know, what would you call it? Like the like plants and stuff like that inside this thing, and it has lights and it has a water spray. And what they did with OpenClaw, they have OpenClaw controlling it to where they got this thing that dips into the dirt, and that will tell OpenClaw whether they need to water the plants, whether they need to lower the lights, or whether they need to cut the lights off. A bot is doing this. So you know what they was able to do with this? Have a whole thing, or like a whole warehouse, a greenhouse, where they now OpenClaw, or any of them can run this. You just have to explain. No, but what I'm saying is you got to realize robots are automation, sensors, and AI. You understand? Sensors, automation, and AI. So basically the bots will be controlling the sensors and the automation. So once that thing dips into that dirt, it can read what that dirt needs. And now it's up to, but this is all trained from a bot controlling that automation. So what I'm saying is this is the world we're moving into, and that's why most people sitting in front of computers, they won't need that in the long run, because you could just basically tell your bot to control. If you got 20 people working on Excel sheets for this one company, you don't need them no more. So that's it for that. So